Commander Han stared at the view screen, his four eyes blinking in sequence as he studied the small blue planet. It was the third from a yellow star, tucked away in an unremarkable arm of the galaxy. "Have we confirmed life signs?" Han asked, his voice low and measured. Science Officer G moved her slender fingers across the control panel. "Yes, Commander. The planet teems with life, and there are clear signs of civilization, cities, road networks, and primitive satellites in orbit." Han's ship, the Starseeker had been mapping this sector for the Galactic Council for nearly a year. Finding new species was rare. Finding intelligent life was even rarer. Sensors detect radio waves and basic digital transmissions, J continued. Technology level appears to be pre-spaceflight, perhaps type 0.7 on the Cardiff scale. Han nodded. "Another primitive species, then. Still, protocol demands we report this to Council High Command." 3 days later, Han received unexpected orders. The message from Admiral Bach was clear. Maintain observation of the blue planet. There are unusual energy spikes that do not match their apparent technology level. Han was puzzled. The rules about contact with pre-spaceflight species were strict. Observe from a distance, record data, then leave them alone until they developed faster-than-light travel. Direct contact was forbidden. "Set up a hidden observation post on their moon," Han told his crew. "We'll monitor them for one rotation of their planet around its star." On Earth, Ta walked through the underground lab, her footsteps echoing against metal floors. 80 meters below the Pacific Ocean, hidden from prying eyes. Both human and alien, she and her team had created something revolutionary. "How is the engine performing today?" she asked her chief engineer, Kim. Kim smiled, dark circles under his eyes showing his lack of sleep. "Even better than yesterday. The energy masking field works perfectly. Anyone scanning it would think it's just a simple nuclear reactor." Ta placed her hand on the smooth casing of the drive. Inside, particles moved in ways that defied conventional physics. The drive could propel a ship to the nearest star in weeks, not centuries. "And the Council ships in orbit still haven't detected anything unusual?" Tai asked. "No," said Kim. "They've had a small vessel on the dark side of the moon for months. They think we're just primitive apes throwing satellites into orbit." Ta nodded. Earth's leaders had known about alien observers for decades. Rather than announce their presence, humanity had chosen a different path. Develop in secret, hide their true capabilities, and prepare. The Silent Dawn is ready for its first real test, Ta said. "We'll launch tonight when their observation satellites are on the far side of Earth." Commander Han was eating his evening meal when the alarm sounded. "Commander, to the bridge immediately." G's voice came through the ship's communication system. Han rushed to his post. "Report." "Sir, all our scanning equipment temporarily went offline. Just for 2 minutes. When it came back online, everything appears normal." Han frowned. "Equipment failure?" "No, sir," G said, looking troubled. "It was too precise, too coordinated. Every scanner, every sensor, all failed at exactly the same moment, then restarted exactly 2 minutes later. Check if anything has changed on the planet," Han ordered. Jai ran a complete scan. "Nothing unusual, sir." "Wait." She paused, rechecking her readings. "One of their larger oceanic research vessels is no longer where it was. It's simply gone." Han stared at the blue planet spinning slowly below them. Something wasn't right. These humans were hiding something, but his superiors had already labeled his concerns as overreaction. "Log the anomaly," Han said finally, "but mark it as inconclusive." As the Starseeker continued its silent watch, 300 kilometers below the Pacific Ocean, the first human faster-than-light vessel slipped quietly into the void, invisible to alien eyes. Humanity's silent expansion into the stars had begun. 3 years had passed since Commander Han's mission to observe Earth. Now, he sat alone in a small office on Galactic Council Station 17, far from any important work. His reports about strange energy readings from Earth had been dismissed, and his career had suffered. "Commander Han, your shift ended an hour ago," said a young officer passing by his door. Han barely looked up from his screen. "I'm reviewing some old data. You go ahead." After the junior officer left, Han pulled up the file he had been building for years, evidence that humans were more advanced than the Council believed. Small things, unusual radiation signatures, missing Earth vessels, and brief scanner failures. Nothing concrete enough to convince his superiors, but Han knew something was happening. Captain Du stood on the bridge of the Quiet Thunder, Earth's most advanced exploration vessel. Through the main viewport, he watched as a new human colony took shape on the planet below. This was the fifth world humans had settled in the last 3 years, all without the Galactic Council's knowledge. "Status report," Du said, his voice calm and steady. His first officer, Park, looked up from her station. "The colony's stealth shield is active, Captain. From orbit, this looks like an empty world with no technology. The settlers have already built the main habitat and started planting crops." Du nodded. "Good, and our ship remains undetected." "Yes, sir. Our cloaking system is working perfectly." The door to the bridge slid open as Admiral Sung entered. The Admiral was the mastermind behind Earth's strategy of silent expansion. "Captain," Sung said, "I need your ship ready for a new mission. Our scouts have found a world rich in titanium, 20 light-years from here. We need those resources for the fleet we're building." Du turned to face his superior. "The fleet is growing quickly then. 200 ships now," Sung said with pride. "All hidden in the asteroid belts of our solar system or in deep space stations, each one with technology far beyond what the Council races possess." "They still think we're primitive," Du said. Sung nodded. "And we must keep it that way, until we're ready. We've learned enough about the galaxy to know it's not always friendly. The Council claims to protect all species, but they play favorites. And the Vec Dominion at the edge of Council space." He shook his head. "They would see Earth as a prize to be taken." "So we stay hidden," Du said. "Build our strength. Prepare for the day when hiding is no longer an option." "Exactly," Sung said. "Earth can't afford to be seen as weak. When we finally reveal ourselves to the galaxy, it must be from a position of strength." In a distant part of space, a small Council scientific outpost orbited a gas giant. The station was studying unusual radiation from the planet's core. Lai, a junior researcher, frowned at her scanner. "That's strange." Her supervisor looked over her shoulder. "What is it?" "I'm picking up a brief energy spike. It's gone now, but for a moment, it looked like, well, like a ship." "Where?" Lai pointed to the screen, "Just at the edge of the system. But our charts show no scheduled traffic today." The supervisor tapped the controls, replaying the last few minutes of sensor data. "Probably just a sensor glitch, but log it anyway." Neither of them noticed the invisible human scout ship that had briefly dropped its cloak to take detailed scans of the Council outpost. By the time they checked their sensors again, Captain Du's ship was long gone, carrying valuable intelligence back to Earth. In his small office, Commander Han added a new entry to his private file. Another unexplained energy reading, this time near Research Station 42. It matched the pattern he'd been tracking for years. Han leaned back in his chair and stared at the star map on his wall. Slowly, he placed small markers on several points, all locations where anomalies had been reported. Stepping back, he saw a pattern forming. These weren't random events. They created an expanding circle with Earth at its center. "What are you humans doing out there?" he whispered to himself. Captain Du's ship, the Quiet Thunder, drifted silently at the edge of a star system. They were cloaked and invisible to all sensors. Du watched the main screen with narrow eyes as 3 large warships approached a small Galactic Council outpost. "Those are Vec ships," said Officer Park, checking her scanner. "Dominion battle cruisers." Du frowned. What are they doing this far into Council space? The Vec Dominion was known throughout the galaxy as aggressive and dangerous. They were part of the Galactic Council, but only because they were too powerful to exclude. "Sir, they're powering up weapons," Park said, her voice tense. Du stood from his captain's chair. "Are they really going to attack a Council station?" The answer came quickly. Red beams of energy shot from the Vec ships, hitting the small outpost. The station's shields flickered and failed. "The station has about 50 people on it," Park reported. "Mostly scientists and a few security personnel. They can't defend against 3 battle cruisers." Du's communication officer turned to him. "Captain, should we contact Earth for instructions?" Du hesitated. Their orders were clear: observe but never reveal themselves. Human ships were to remain hidden from all alien species, but 50 innocent lives were at stake. "Open a secure channel to Admiral Sung," Du ordered. "Maximum encryption." While they waited for the transmission to reach Earth, the Vec ships continued their attack. The outpost was breaking apart. Escape pods launched from the station, but the Vec ships were firing on them too. Admiral Sung's face appeared on the screen. Du quickly explained the situation. "This puts us in a difficult position, Captain," Sung said, his face grim. "If you intervene, you'll reveal our technology to both the Council and the Vec." "If we do nothing, sir, everyone on that station will die," Du replied. There was a long pause. Finally, Sung nodded. "You have permission to engage, Captain. Save who you can, but try to limit how much of our technology is revealed." "Understood, sir." Du turned to his crew. "Battle stations. Prepare all weapons. We're dropping the cloak." The crew moved quickly, faces serious but determined. This would be the first time a human ship engaged in battle with an alien vessel. "Cloak dropping in 3, 2, 1, Park announced. Suddenly, the quiet thunder became visible in space. It was sleek and black, much smaller than the Vec cruisers, but built with technology far beyond what the Council races possessed. "Target their weapons first," Du ordered. "Fire when ready." The human ship moved incredibly fast, blue energy beams shooting from its sides. The beams cut through the first Vec ship shields like they weren't there. The Vec cruiser's weapon systems exploded. The other 2 Vec ships turned, surprised by the appearance of an unknown vessel. They fired at the quiet thunder, but the human ship was too quick. It darted between them, firing precise shots that disabled rather than destroyed. In the damaged Council station, survivors watched in amazement as the mysterious ship defended them. Commander Han was stationed on a small planet 3 systems away when the emergency signal came through. A Council outpost was under attack by Vec ships. By the time he arrived in a small rescue vessel, the battle was over. The Vec ships were floating dead in space, their engines and weapons destroyed. The Council station was badly damaged, but about 30 people had survived in escape pods. And there, helping the survivors, was a ship unlike any Han had seen before. Yet something about its design seemed strangely familiar. "Magnify that ship," Han told his pilot. As the image grew larger on his screen, Han felt a chill run down his spine. The strange angles, the smooth black surface, they matched sketches he had made years ago, based on blurry images from Earth's upper atmosphere. "I knew it," he whispered. "The humans are out here after all." As Han watched, the mysterious ship finished helping the last escape pod, then suddenly vanished, as if it had never been there at all. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was filled with noise. Representatives from 30 different species sat in curved rows, all talking at once. At the center of the room stood High Counselor Mev, trying to restore order. "One at a time, please," Mev called out, his 4 arms raised for silence. "We must discuss this matter calmly." Slowly, the noise died down. Mev nodded and continued. 3 days ago, An unknown ship saved one of our research stations from a Vec attack. This ship used technology we have never seen before. We need to identify it. A tall, insect-like being stood up. The Vec claimed this was a planned attack on them. They demand we find and punish those responsible. Murmurs filled the room. Everyone knew the Vec were lying. They had attacked first. Before we continue, Mev said, I wish to call Commander Han to speak. Han walked to the center of the hall, feeling all eyes on him. For years, his reports about strange activities near Earth had been ignored. Now finally, they were listening. Honorable Council, Han began. I believe the ship that intervened was of human origin. The hall erupted in disbelief. Humans, the primitive species from the blue planet. Impossible. They barely have space travel. Mev raised his arms again for quiet. Commander Han, please explain. Han activated a holographic display. 3 years ago, I observed unusual energy patterns around Earth. My reports were dismissed, but I continued to track similar energy signatures across our space. They match what we saw from the unknown ship. Han showed images of the ship that had saved the station. Then he showed sketches he had made years ago based on brief glimpses of craft in Earth's atmosphere. The designs are clearly related, Han concluded. Humans have been in space for years, hiding their true capabilities from us. On Earth, in a secure underground room, Admiral Sung faced the World Security Council. The large screen on the wall showed Captain Du's report of the battle with the Vec ships. So now they know we exist, said Counselor Lee, her face serious. Sung nodded. Yes, but they don't know our full capabilities or how many ships we have. Can we still maintain secrecy? Asked another counselor. No, said a new voice. Tai entered the room, followed by her colleague Yu. Both were Earth's leading scientists on space technology. The Council will investigate, Ta continued. They will send ships to Earth. They will ask questions. Hiding is no longer an option. Ju stepped forward. But we can control how much they learn. We should approach them now, on our terms, not wait for them to come to us. The room fell silent as everyone considered this. Captain Du's actions saved 30 lives, Admiral Sung said finally. I stand by the decision to intervene. But now we must decide our next step carefully. Captain Du stood in his quarters aboard the Quiet Thunder, staring out at the stars. His ship was hidden again, observing the Council rescue ships that had arrived after the battle. A soft beep announced a message. Du touched the screen and saw Ta's face. Captain, the Council has decided. We're going to reveal ourselves officially. Du raised an eyebrow. All of our capabilities. No, Tai replied. Just enough to establish diplomatic relations. The rest remains secret for now. And my ship. You're being recalled to Earth. The Quiet Thunder will become our flagship for the first official diplomatic mission to the Galactic Council. Du nodded slowly. Who will lead this mission? Ambassador Min has been chosen. She's studied alien cultures for years. She'll represent humanity well. After the call ended, Du looked back at the stars. Everything would change now. Humans would take their place among the galaxy's species, but would they be welcomed or feared? Only time would tell. The Quiet Thunder moved slowly toward the massive space station that served as the Galactic Council headquarters. Captain Du had removed the ship's cloaking device and other advanced systems. They wanted to show some technology, but not all of it. On the bridge, Ambassador Min stood next to Captain Du. She wore a simple blue uniform that represented Earth's united government. They're hailing us, said Officer Park. Open the channel, Du ordered. The main screen lit up with the image of High Counselor Mev. His alien face showed no emotion that humans could read. Vessel from Earth, you are cleared to dock at Bay 12, Mev said formally. A welcome committee awaits you. Min stepped forward. Thank you, High Counselor. We look forward to establishing formal relations between Earth and the Galactic Council. As the communication ended, Min turned to Du. Remember, Captain, We reveal only what we've agreed upon. Nothing more. Du nodded. My crew understands, Ambassador. Commander Han waited at the docking bay with several council officials. After years of being ignored, he had been assigned as the liaison to the human delegation. It was both an honor and a silent apology for doubting him. The human ship docked with perfect precision. Han noticed it was smaller than he expected, but its design was elegant and clearly advanced. The airlock opened, and Ambassador Min stepped out, followed by Captain Du and two other humans. They looked much like recordings Han had seen of Earth, except their clothing was different, more formal and unified. Welcome to Council Station Alpha, Han said, bowing slightly. I am Commander Han, your assigned liaison. Min returned the bow. Thank you, Commander. I am Ambassador Min of Earth. This is Captain Du of our vessel, Quiet Thunder. As they walked through the station, Han noticed many aliens stopping to stare at the humans. Some looked curious, others afraid. Your arrival has caused quite a stir, Han explained. For years, the Council believed Earth was a pre-spaceflight world. Min smiled slightly. We were aware of your observations. We chose to keep certain developments private. Why? Han asked directly. Min glanced at him. History taught us caution, Commander. On Earth, when advanced societies met less developed ones, the results were often tragic for the less advanced. We wanted to be ready before announcing ourselves to the galaxy. The council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Min finished her presentation. She had explained how humans had secretly developed faster than light travel, established colonies on several worlds, and built a small but capable fleet of ships. You deceived the council for years, said the VEC representative, his voice angry. How can we trust anything you say now? We did not deceive, Min replied calmly. We simply did not announce ourselves until we were ready. There is no law requiring a species to reveal all its technological advances. High Counselor Mev leaned forward. Ambassador Min, while your point is technically correct, your actions have created concern. Many council members wonder what else humans might be hiding. Min's face remained calm. Every species has its secrets, Counselor. I'm sure the VEC don't share all their military capabilities. The VEC representative stood up angrily. The VEC Dominion demands that humans be censured for their deceptive practices. We cannot allow a species that sneaks around the galaxy to join this council. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Min noticed some representatives nodding in agreement with the VEC. May I remind the council, Min said clearly, that our first public act was to save a council station from VEC attackers. Actions speak louder than words, as we say on Earth. This caused more discussion among the representatives. Han, watching from his seat, had to admire the human ambassador's skill. She had turned the conversation away from human secrecy and back to the VEC's illegal attack. The debate continued for hours. By the end, no decision had been reached except to continue talks the next day. As Min left the chamber with her team, she whispered to Captain Du, "The VEC are pushing too hard. Something isn't right." Du nodded. "I think they're afraid of us. The question is, why?" Ambassador Min sat with Commander Han in a quiet meeting room on the council station. They were reviewing data about the VEC Dominion. "The timing doesn't make sense," Min said. "Why would the VEC attack a council station now, after years of peace?" Han looked troubled. "I've been studying VEC movements for the past month. They've been building up forces on the edge of council space. My superiors thought it was just a military exercise." Min's communication device beeped. She answered to find Captain Du's face on the screen. "Ambassador, we've received an encrypted message from Earth. Admiral Sung needs to speak with you immediately." Minutes later, Admiral Sung's stern face appeared on the secure screen. "Ambassador, our intelligence has uncovered something disturbing. The VEC have been planning to attack and conquer several less advanced council worlds. They've been building their fleet for months." Min frowned. Why would they do that? The Council has always been peaceful toward them. Resources, Sung replied. The Vec are running out of certain rare minerals they need. But there's more. We think they detected some of our hidden colonies near their space. They know we could stop them. So the attack on the research station was likely an attempt to test Council defenses without revealing their larger plan. Some finished, but they didn't expect a human ship to be there. After the call ended, Min shared the information with Commander Han. His 4 eyes widened in shock. If this is true, many innocent worlds could be in danger, Han said. I must take this to the High Counselor immediately. High Counselor Mev was still absorbing the troubling information when the chamber doors burst open. The Vec representative, General Cax, stormed in with 4 armed guards. High Counselor, Cax announced loudly, I bring a message from the Vec High Command. Mev rose from his seat. General Cax, this is highly irregular. The Vec Dominion hereby issues an ultimatum to the Galactic Council. Cax interrupted. You will expel the humans from Council space immediately, or face war with the Dominion. The room fell silent. Ambassador Min, who was present with Commander Han, stepped forward. On what grounds do you make such a demand? She asked calmly. Cax turned his sharp gaze to her. Humans are deceptive and dangerous. You hid your true nature for years. You have established colonies without permission. You attacked Vec warships without provocation. That's not true, Commander Han objected. Your ships attacked a Council station. The humans defended it. Lies. Cax shouted. The Council has 48 hours to decide. Remove the humans, or prepare for war. With that, he and his guards left. Later that day, the Council held an emergency session. Many representatives were afraid. The Vec fleet is larger than all our defense forces combined, said one counselor. We cannot fight them, and hope to win, said another. Min stood to address the Council. Honorable members, Earth understands your concern. But giving in to threats will only lead to more threats. The Vec don't just want humans removed. They want to conquer weaker worlds for their resources. Do you have proof of this? Mev asked. Min hesitated. Revealing their intelligence sources would expose more of Earth's capabilities. We have information that suggests this is their plan. Not good enough, a counselor shouted. We need proof before we risk war. The debate continued for hours. As Min left the chamber, she knew the Council was leaning toward accepting the Vec ultimatum. They were too afraid to fight. She contacted Earth again. Admiral Sung, I believe the Council will vote to expel us. What are your orders? Sung's face was grim but determined. Return to your ship, Ambassador. It's time to activate our contingency plan. If the Vec want war, they'll soon learn that humans are not as easy to bully as they think. Min's heart beat faster. Earth was about to reveal its true power to the galaxy. The Galactic Council chamber was filled with tension. After hours of debate, High Counselor Mev called for a vote on the Vec ultimatum. Those in favor of rejecting the Vec demands, please indicate now, Mev said. Slowly, lights began to glow on the voting panel. To everyone's surprise, the majority voted to reject the ultimatum. The Council would not expel the humans. Ambassador Min stood outside the chamber with Commander Han, watching the results come in. I didn't expect this, Min said quietly. Han nodded. Many Council members are tired of Vec threats, but they're still afraid of what comes next. Min's communication device beeped. It was Captain Du. Ambassador, you need to return to the ship immediately. Admiral Sung has news. Aboard the Quiet Thunder, Min found Captain Du looking at a large star map. Red dots showed Vec fleet movements. The Vec are not waiting for the Council's answer, Du explained. They're already moving their ships toward Council worlds. Min frowned. They're attacking anyway. Yes, and Admiral Sung has authorized our response. Du touched the screen, and suddenly dozens of blue dots appeared on the map. They were scattered throughout Council space. What are these? Min asked, though she already knew. Human ships, Du replied. We've had vessels stationed near every major council world for months, hidden and waiting. Min's eyes widened. How many? 200 near council worlds. 300 more can arrive within 12 hours. Min took a deep breath. That's far more than what we told the council we had. Du nodded. We kept our true strength hidden, just as Admiral Sung planned. But now it's time to show what humanity can really do. Commander Han was summoned to Min's ship for an urgent meeting. When he arrived, Min showed him the map with all the hidden human ships. Han stared in shock. All this time. We need your help, Commander, Min said. The Vec will attack soon. The Council's defenses will not be enough. What can I do? Han asked. We have evidence that Vec spies have infiltrated the Council. They know defense codes and shield frequencies. Han's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. That's how they plan to win so easily. They'll disable defenses from within. Min nodded. We need someone we can trust to warn the High Counselor. Meanwhile, on Earth, scientist Ju worked frantically in her lab. Screens around her showed data from Vec ships. I found it, she told Ta, who stood nearby. The weakness in their shield design. Ta looked at the data. Are you sure? Yes, their shields create a specific energy pattern. If we adjust our weapons to match this frequency, but in reverse, we can create a destructive resonance. Ta immediately contacted Admiral Sung. We have a way to penetrate Vec shields, but we need to share this with Council ships too. Their regular weapons won't work against the Vec. Sung's face was grim. The Council doesn't have time to adapt their technology. We'll have to protect them ourselves. Back on the Council station, Captain Du was training a mixed crew of humans and aliens. They would serve on Council defense ships, helping them work with human technology. Your ships are so different, said a young Council officer. How did humans develop such advanced technology in secret? Du smiled slightly. We've always been good at thinking differently. When you're a small planet with limited resources, you learn to be creative. A red alert suddenly sounded throughout the station. All officers rushed to their stations. The Vec fleet has entered Council space, announced a voice over the speakers. All ships prepare for defensive positions. Du looked at his mixed crew. Time to show the galaxy what humans can do. As they rushed to their ships, Commander Han met them in the corridor. Captain Du, Han said urgently, I've discovered the Vec plan. They will attack these 5 worlds first. He showed a small data device with coordinates. Du looked at the information. Thank you, Commander. Will you fight with us? Han stood straight. The Council has authorized me to join your crew. I know Vec tactics better than most. Together, they boarded the Quiet Thunder. The first battle of what would become a galactic war was about to begin. 5 Vec battle cruisers approached the Council colony world of Terrace. The colony had only 3 small defense ships and a single orbital station for protection. On the Council defense station, alarms blared as officers rushed to battle stations. Vec ships will be in firing range in 10 minutes, reported a nervous young officer. The station commander looked grim. Our shields won't hold against 5 cruisers. Send an emergency signal to Council headquarters. Sir, the communication system isn't working. Another officer called out. Something's blocking our signal. The commander realized with horror that they were alone. The Vec had planned well. On board the Quiet Thunder, Captain Du and Commander Han watched the Vec ships approach Terrace. They're jamming communications, Han said. Standard Vec tactic. Attack isolated targets first. Du nodded. The Vec don't know we're here. He turned to his communications officer. Contact all hidden ships in this sector. Tell them to prepare for battle but remain cloaked until my signal. Han looked surprised. How many ships do you have here? 20, Du replied. Small but powerful. Each one can match a Vec cruiser. As the Vec ships moved closer to Terrace, Du gave the order to his fleet. All ships move into position. On the main Vec cruiser, General Cax watched with satisfaction as they approached the helpless colony. "This will be a simple victory," he told his officers. "After we destroy their defenses, begin landing troops. I want this world secured within 12 hours." His weapons officer turned from his console. "Sir, we're in range. Ready to fire." "Begin the attack," Cax ordered. The 5 Vex ships fired their main weapons at the Council defense station. The station's shields glowed bright as they struggled to absorb the attack. Cax smiled as he watched. "Their shields will fail in minutes. Then—" "Sir," interrupted his sensor officer, "I'm detecting energy readings all around us." "What?" Cax moved quickly to the sensor screen. "From where?" Before the officer could answer, space seemed to ripple around them as 20 sleek black ships suddenly appeared, surrounding the Vec cruisers. Cax stared in shock. Where did they come from? Du gave the order. All ships to cloak and fire. 20 human vessels appeared as if from nowhere. They fired blue energy beams that cut through the Vec shields like they weren't there. On the bridge of the Quiet Thunder, Han watched in amazement. The shield-penetrating technology really works. "Ju's design is perfect," Du replied. "Target their weapons and engines. We want to disable, not destroy." The human ships moved with incredible speed and precision. The Vec cruisers, suddenly finding themselves surrounded and outmatched, tried to return fire, but their shots missed the fast-moving human vessels. Throughout the galaxy, similar scenes played out as the Vec launched their coordinated attack on multiple Council worlds. Each time, they found themselves facing hidden human fleets that appeared out of nowhere. On 17 different worlds, Council species watched in awe as mysterious black ships appeared to defend them against the Vec attack. On the Council headquarters station, High Counselor Mev and other leaders gathered around screens showing the battles. "Are those human ships?" asked one counselor in disbelief. "How many of them are there?" asked another. Ambassador Min, who stood quietly nearby, finally spoke. "Enough." The battle at Terrace was almost over. 4 Vec cruisers floated powerless in space, their weapons and engines disabled. Only General Cax's ship still fought, but it was heavily damaged. "Sir, we've lost shields and most weapons," reported Cax's second-in-command. "We're receiving reports of similar defeats in all attack locations." Cax slammed his fist on the control panel. "Impossible. How did the humans have so many ships? Where were they hiding?" Du's voice came through on an open channel. "General Cax, your attack has failed. Surrender your vessel." On the screen, Cax could see the Quiet Thunder hovering directly in front of his ship, its weapons aimed at his command center. Cax realized he had no choice. "This isn't over, human," he growled as he gave the order to surrender. Du turned to Han. "Now the real work begins. The Vec won't give up easily." Han nodded. "No, but the galaxy will never be the same after today. No one will underestimate humans again." 1 month after the Vec attack, representatives from all Council species gathered in the Great Hall. The room was larger than before, with a new section added for human delegates. High Counselor Mev stood at the center. "Today we welcome Earth as a full member of the Galactic Council." Ambassador Min stepped forward to accept the formal membership certificate. The hall filled with applause, though some species clapped more enthusiastically than others. "Earth thanks the Council for this honor," Min said. "We look forward to working together for peace across the galaxy." After the ceremony, Min met with Commander Han in a quiet corner of the hall. "How are the peace talks with the Vec progressing?" she asked. Han sighed. "Slowly. General Cax has been replaced by more reasonable leaders, but they're still angry about their defeat. They've agreed to stop their expansion plans, at least for now." "They had no choice," Min said. "After we disabled their main fleet, they couldn't continue fighting." "True," Han admitted, "but many Council members are still trying to understand how humans hid so many ships for so long. There's both admiration and fear." Min smiled slightly. "A healthy balance, perhaps." In a large workshop on Earth, Tai and Ju stood beside their newest creation. It was a drive system even more advanced than what powered the human fleet. "Will you share this technology with the Council?" Ju asked as they examined the glowing core. Tai thought for a moment. "Some of it. The Council needs to advance, but Earth's leadership wants to maintain our edge. Just in case." "In case of what?" "In case there are threats out there even worse than the Vec," Tai replied. "The galaxy is vast, and we've only explored a small part of it." On the newly established joint exploration vessel Discovery, Captain Du showed Commander Han around the bridge. The ship combined the best of human and Council technology. "This ship can travel twice as fast as any previous Council vessel," Du explained. "We'll be able to explore regions no one has reached before." Han looked impressed. "I never thought I'd serve on a ship like this. When I first discovered Earth all those years ago, I had no idea where it would lead." "Life is full of surprises," Du said. "That's something humans understand well." As they prepared for their first mission, Han asked the question that had been on his mind for weeks. "Captain, just how many ships does Earth really have? I know you revealed hundreds during the battle, but—" Du smiled. "Let's just say we're still keeping some surprises in reserve. It's the human way." In the secure briefing room deep beneath Earth's surface, Admiral Sung met with the World Security Council. A large holographic map showed the known galaxy, with human colonies and fleets marked in blue. "Our position is stronger than ever," Sung reported. "The Vec have signed the peace treaty. The Council respects our power. And our new colonies are thriving." "And the new defense system?" asked a counselor. Sung pressed a button, and the map changed to show a network of satellites around Earth and human colonies. "Phase 1 is complete. If any hostile force approaches our worlds, we'll know immediately." "Good," said the head counselor. "And what of the signals we detected from beyond the galaxy's edge?" Sung's face grew serious. "Still unidentified, but the joint expedition with Commander Han will investigate." "You trust him?" asked another counselor. "I do," Sung replied. "He's proven himself an ally. Besides, this mission may need both human ingenuity and Council experience." As the meeting ended, Sung stayed behind, looking at the galactic map. Earth, once thought to be an insignificant world with primitive technology, now stood as one of the most powerful forces in the galaxy. But Sung knew the story was far from over. The mysterious signals from beyond known space concerned him. If there were threats out there bigger than the Vec, Earth would need to be ready. Humanity had earned its place among the stars. Now they had to defend it, not just for themselves, but for all the species who now looked to humans for protection. The galaxy had never expected this, but perhaps that had always been humanity's greatest strength, doing the unexpected.